the present basic education scenario in the Philippines, the K-12 program, the different educational systems in various places.
Hello everyone and hello world! Today, we are going to talk about the global teachers knowledgeable of K-12 programs of various countries. Global teachers should have a wide perspectives of various educational landscape. They must be open and responsive to a new and diverse educational reform in order to have a clear knowledge and understanding of the international educational context. And now, my colleagues will give their insights and ideas about the K-12 program in the various countries. Moreover, we will know how the educational system of the different countries differ from each other. So without further ado, let's hear Ms. Antilo for the present basic education scenario and the reasons for coming up with K-12 program in the Philippines. Ms. Antilo?
The present basic education scenario in the Philippines. Several educational reforms have been initiated because of the Department of Education commitment to enhance the quality of basic education. The mandate of ensuring that no longer shall be left behind and that every Filipino child will have access to quality education give way to the enactment of Kindergarten Education Act, which implemented in school year 2011 to 2012 by virtue of Republic Act 10157. The law institutionalized the inclusion of kindergarten education into the basic education system of the Philippines to improve the students' access to education and better prepares learners who have active minds to the next level of schooling. Then the other one is the Republic Act 10533, also known as the Enhanced Basic Education Act of 2013, enabled the implementation of the K-12 in the country. It was started as a flagship reform strategy initiated also by the Department Secretary with the objective of producing more productive and responsible citizens fully equipped with the essential competencies, skills for both lifelong learning and employment. There are some reasons for coming up with K-12 program in the Philippines. Number one is the poor quality of basic education is reflected in the low achievement scores of Filipino students in the National Achievement Test, the NAT, and also the Philippines had low performance in the trends in international mathematics and science studies as revealed in the 2003 and 2008 TIMSS, which is the trends in international mathematics and science studies. That K-12 program was implemented to strengthen science and math education. Another reason is the unpreparedness for employment, entrepreneurship, or higher education of Filipino high school graduates because of the congested 10-year curriculum. The inadequate preparation of high school graduates for the world of work or entrepreneurship or higher education high school graduates also do not possess the basic competencies or emotional maturity essential for the world of work. The additional 2 years of the former 10 years basic education program was envisioned for mastery of learning, making learners better prepared for the world of work. Besides the conventional belief of just preparing them for collegiate education. Third is since most of the countries around the globe have 12 years of basic education cycle, the additional 2 years make the Philippine education system comparable and recognized in meeting international standard, because the Philippines is the only remaining country which provide only 10 years basic education program. Graduates of the 12 education cycle has potential to be globally competitive. That's all. Back to you, Normie.
Thank you, Ms. Sontila. And now, another reporter will report to us about the educational system of Brunei Darussalam and Canada. Ms. Rosal, come in.
The education in Brunei is modeled on the British system, with Brunei Cambridge GCE A levels being used to prepare students for entrance to university and other higher education institutions in Brunei Darussalam and overseas. Furthermore, all school system in Brunei Darussalam adopts the 1632 pattern, representing a year of preschool, 6 years of primary education, 3 years of lower secondary, 2 years of upper secondary or vocational or technical education, and 2 years of pre-tertiary education. Brunei Darussalam starts with 1 year primary education and then 6 years of elementary education. Students take and should pass the end of cycle public examination before they progress to diversified secondary level. Brunei Darussalam has secondary level that consists of 2 categories. The general education program, which consists of 2 to 3 years, and another 2 to 3 years of upper secondary education, where students are grouped according to their academic abilities, talents, and interests. Moreover, in the general education program of Brunei Darussalam, the students take 4 core subjects and 3 complementary subjects, and at least 2 elective subjects, with science as one of required elective. Students who excel academically can take secondary education in 2 years. Differentiated and specialized education, responding to the different capabilities and interests of the learners, are the required secondary curriculum. In addition to this, preschool in Brunei is a play school which aims to impart socio-emotional and personality development for young learners in an informal preschool program. In Canada, K-12 is a term-used education in their country. It is a short form for the school grades prior to college. These grades are kindergarten and the 1st to 12th grade. Canada comprises 10 provinces and 3 territories. Education in Canada is a province-run system of public education provided, funded, and administered by federal, provincial, and local governments. Education is compulsory up to the age of 16 years in Canada, except for Ontario and New Brunswick, where compulsory age is 18. As the education system in Canada is administered by the varying provincial governments in Canada, the way the educational stages are grouped and named may differ for each region or even between districts and individual schools. By laws, Canadians must be in school starting age 5 or 6 and remain in school until ages between 16 to 18, depending on the province or territory. All provinces and territory provide universal, free, and adult secondary schooling for 12 years, with exemption of Quebec, where it offers education until 11 years. Canada followed the K-12 educational curriculum with secondary schooling or high school structures that varies within province in terms of inclusion of middle school or junior high school. Canada usually starts with kindergarten. In Canada country, elementary schools includes grades 1 to 6 in regions where there are 2 years of middle school or junior high school, but those without middle junior high school have elementary and 3rd grade. In line with this, in Quebec, grade school is 6 years and their students proceed immediately to high school. Secondary high school with middle school or junior high school begins in grade 7 to 12, and those without begin in secondary high school in grade 9. On the other hand, post-secondary education includes career college or vocational school community college or university. And for more information, the language instruction used in Canada, since Canada is a bilingual country, are English language and French language in schools that are available throughout the country. And that's all. Thank you, and back to you, Miss Benicitos.
Thank you, Mr. Sal. Very well said. Educational system builds a brighter future for our nation's students as professionals and as citizens. It is not just important, but it is a necessity to give importance to education in the different countries. At this point of time, we will hear Ms. Gillian for the report about the educational systems of the countries Korea and Malaysia. Ms. Gillian.
The school system in Korea follows 6-3-3-4 education system, which is 6 years in elementary or primary education, 3 years of middle school or lower secondary education, 3 years of upper secondary education imparted by high school that is not compulsory, and 4 years of either junior college, college or university to complete higher education. The Korean kindergarten provides nurturing learning environment through various pleasant activities and diverse teaching pedagogy. They have enjoyable playful activities designed for kids. Kids are taught how to read and write in both English as well as Korean. Also, simple math is being taught at kindergarten level. The primary education in Korea is compulsory and free. It focuses on developing fundamental skills that will be needed by children throughout their lives. Secondary education in Korea comprises of middle schools and high schools. The middle schools, like primary education, it is compulsory and free. The middle school curricula are a combination of 11 basic or required subjects along with the elective subjects and extracurricular activities. Korean students may continue to high school, and admission to high school depends upon the result of high school entrance examination. High school in Korea are in 2 categories. These are general high school and vocational high school. In general high school, it provides advanced general education along with elective courses, which students choose based on their intended university course or program. While in vocational high school, it focuses on specific occupational areas such as agriculture, commerce, technology, and fishery. Limited numbers of schools which offers both general and vocational training is also known as comprehensive high school. So now, let's proceed in Malaysia. In Malaysia, education begins with preschool, where the medium of instruction is both Malaysian and English. For learners 4 to 5, Malaysia offers 2-year optional preschool. For personality development of young learner, they have to follow the standard-based preschool curriculum. It is required in Malaysia. The elementary education or primary education in Malaysia is 6 years with the requirement of passing the public examination as determining factor of the student's readiness to high school or secondary level. The secondary or high school in Malaysia has 2 level categories, the lower secondary or level 2 and the upper secondary or level 3. Lower secondary program offers general and differentiated curriculum for 2 to 3 years. In the upper secondary, a student takes subjects according to their appropriate streams such as art, science, technical, and religious for 2 years.
That's all. Thank you. Back to you, Normie.
Thank you for the information, Ms. Gillian. And the last report is Ms. Trujillo for the educational system of the countries Singapore and United States. Ms. Trujillo.
Thank you, Ms. Pinicitos. And now let's talk about the Singaporean education. Education in Singapore begins with 3 to 4 years old in kindergarten, and they have the 3 to 4 hours provision. Within that provision, it includes the language development, the literary skills, the basic number concepts, the social skills, the creative skills, and most especially the appreciation of music and movements. Mother tongue also is part of the curriculum. It includes the Chinese, the Malay, the Tamil, and the Indian as their language preference. It takes 6 years in primary education after kindergarten. Under primary education, it has 3 significant subjects: the English language, the mathematics, and the mother tongue. In primary education, it has 2 stages: the foundation and then the orientation stage. Under the foundation stage, students are provided with strong foundation of English, mother tongue, and basic numbers in mathematics. Under orientation stage, students are taught with mathematics and science to improve or develop their critical thinking and logical skills. All the students are assessed to take the examination, which is called the Primary School Leaving Examination, or the PSLE, after completing the primary education. And the result of their examination will place the student to secondary courses that suit their level of academic abilities. Singaporean academic bases are those results scores in primary education, and that would lead to students to different academic curriculum in secondary education. The same as of primary education, secondary education have their leaving examination to let the students enter the local or national University of Singapore with also the basis of their level of academic ability scores. And that would be all for the Singaporean education. And now let's talk about the education in United States. The age of entry in education in United States, or the Estados Unidos, varies according to the state itself. It enters 5 to 7 years old, but 6 years old is the most and the best common age to enter the education, basically in kindergarten. Kindergarten certificate is awarded to allow the students enter the primary education to tertiary education. Likewise, the certificate may vary according to its states or district for every institution. And now let's talk about the education level in United States. So in primary education, it has 1 to 3 levels, while in secondary education or the middle school, it has 4 to 8 levels. Grades 8 to 12 at the high school level, which is again dependent on the states itself and the laws and the policies. It has several mandatory subjects in US education, most especially in high school. It includes biology, chemistry, physics under science, and what we call that one? Algebra, geometry, trigonometry, calculus, and statistics under mathematics. During their grade 11, students will take 1 or more standardized tests depending to their preferences. This exam will then cover for the admission to college level. Finishing grade 12, diploma is awarded upon the completion, and that diploma covers different curricular standards: the general and basic track, the vocational, and academic preparatory for entering the tertiary education. And that would be all for the United States and Singaporean education. This is Ria Shane Troelio, and back to you, Miss Pinicitos.
Thank you, Ms. Trujillo. This is Normy Pinicitas. Thank you, and may everyone enjoy the day.